It's Techtober right now. October is the month where everything releases. You know, you just hop on YouTube or whatever, see what kind of products and stuff you're not going to be able to afford. I see in a Linus video. It's not always Linus hosting the videos necessarily, but the new AirPods Pro 3s came out. I was like, oh, those are probably pretty sick, right? Go and you look throughout it, and it's like, the video doesn't seem quite like a Linus video. Like, this isn't shot in their studio and stuff. And then a couple days later, this video is uploaded by Short Circuit, the channel that Linus Tech Tip owns. And then you kind of go back to this other video that you saw. This is Jake hosting the video, one of the main hosts on the channels, but it's on his own channel from what it seems like. And this doesn't happen in a vacuum either. A lot of companies have non-compete agreements. If you were to spin off and make your own channel, you'd think maybe you couldn't cover the same type of products or something. That's kind of weird. And the only way that you actually found out that this was happening is if you hopped onto Twitter. He doesn't seem like he's gonna be going back. He decided to quit and make his own channel. And he has a few videos out that are honestly doing pretty well. But he's also not the only one. So I know a lot of you guys, if you consume tech content on YouTube, a lot of you guys saw this video in your feed on YouTube saying, hey, what is going on here? And this actually took place 4 months ago now. So this is before the whole Jake situation. It seems like Alex also started making his own videos. Again, Alex is a major host on Linus Tech Tips. And the question arose right away is like, is this actually an LTT channel? Are they in ownership, co-owning this channel? But no, you also found out on Twitter that Alex left LTT, and this was around the time when the channel started. If you did not check Twitter, you really didn't even know that this was a separate channel or anything like that. And what's even crazier is you get these split off channels, they're still friendly with each other. All of these guys have now left LTT, and you can see that they're actually collabing together on certain projects. This doesn't happen all the time. This is just one example of it, but that's kind of interesting. Again, more and more people too. So Boca Bola is actually Elijah, which hosts videos for LTT. He's been a part of a few things. You might want to say he's a little bit special, but he is one of the main hosts to this day, and he uploads quite a few videos. I think the channel has been relatively successful, but at the same time, Elijah still works for LTT, but is making his own channel on the side. That does seem like it is pretty unrelated to Linus Tech Tips or tech in general. Here is another guy, Oliver Chow, I don't know how to pronounce it, to be honest. He was a camera operator behind LTT, working on some projects. He also shoots commercials and stuff. And all of a sudden, he seemingly out of nowhere, it feels like, left LTT and made his own channel. This also seems to have taken place pretty close to when he just got a $5,000 AMD Ultimate Tech upgrade for his setup. I don't know if there's like a connection. People get that and then they leave. I don't know. The same thing happened with Emily Young. Now, Emily hasn't really uploaded that much, to be honest, but she did leave and is not a part of LTT anymore. Now, this brings up a lot of questions to me. I'm not gonna lie, like, what the hell is happening over at Linus Tech Tips? People are leaving and making channels that in some ways are going to take away viewership from the main LTT channel. I mean, these are the talents, the personalities that built up the content over the years. I think this comment sums up what I'm thinking perfectly. Is Linus just going to become a bunch of different niche channels that spawned off of the main one in a few years? So one, it makes me ask, why are these people leaving? Are they leaving voluntarily or not? What is the health of Linus Tech Tips actually looking like for the future? And is this an intentional move by them? And three, they're shedding a lot of talent, and are they gonna have people to make up for it? Because these are creators on the channel that they've had for years and years, and now there isn't nearly as much nowadays. I wanna first address the health of Linus Tech Tips. I mean, you may or may not care about the company necessarily, or the media and the content and everything. For me personally, I've grown up with Linus's content. He was one of the creators that got me into tech and building PCs in general. And nowadays I'm pointing the wrong way, but I've got all these graphics cards nowadays. I love this stuff. I've been doing it for so long, and that's been an inspiration for me. So that's like my personal attachment to Linus Tech Tips and everything. But when you go to the website, right? So here's Linus Media Group, their website, not their channel or anything like that. But it lists a lot of the channels that they have. Obviously, they have Linus Tech Tips. They got Short Circuit, which is probably their second biggest channel overall. They've got Tech Linked, which is a news channel for tech. PSU Circuit, which they do power supply reviews on. WAN Show, which is its own channel. It's on LTT, the main channel. They got LMG Clips, Tech Quickie, Game Linked, which is funny because Jake is on the thumbnail of the video for the game length thing here. And there's a MAC address down here, which is an Apple channel. What's interesting is if you dig into a lot of these things, Game Linked, for example, this is a channel that covered gaming news. And this is the first thing here saying, hey, to the Game Linked community, we appreciate all your support over the past years since we launched the channel. We're excited to rework this channel to provide you with the best content that we can produce. And to do that, we're taking a break from uploading for a while. We hope that you stick around and see what we have in store. So basically that was 10 months ago. So let's see what they've been up to on the Game Linked channel. Oh, so they haven't uploaded in 10 months. I would think that they would restructure the content and figure out what they're doing within 10 months. But I mean, the viewership on the channel is like, okay. Yeah, but that's only one channel. What about MAC address? You know, an Apple focused channel is pretty popular on YouTube and everything. Hey, MAC address community. It's been amazing past 3.5 years thanks to all of you. You've always been supportive and kind in the comments. We appreciate that from the community we've grown with the unique LMG channel. We're taking a break from uploading here for a while. Hope that you stick around to see what we have in store for you. We wouldn't be able to do all this if it wasn't for your support. Again, 10 months ago, they did this. And yeah, there's been nothing for 10 months. Now, you might not have even really known that this channel is related to Linus Media Group at all. And maybe just another project that didn't end up working out. Not everything works out, you know? But what about Tech Quickie? One of the staple channels that I watched growing up. We want to continue to fill the world with technology and increase overall tech literacy. To accomplish that, we will take a break soon from uploading videos to rework this channel and build a new plan. We hope that you'll stick around to see what we have in store for you, and in the meantime, you can check out our other channels. We wouldn't be able to do all this if it weren't for your support. 10 months ago, they put this channel on break. Go to the channel itself, and 10 months ago is when they stopped uploading. Now, honestly, some of the Tech Quickie videos do quite well. So this is a channel that possibly has potential, I think. And there's another channel that LTT or LMG runs that is called Channel Super Fun. Overall, you go over to the post section and it says that get ready because Channel Super Fun is temporarily coming back from the dead with an all-new episode of Nerd Sports. So basically this channel hadn't uploaded in a long time, and we checked the videos. It was 2 years the last time they uploaded, and then they uploaded one other video a month ago. So basically what we're seeing is there's 4 separate channels. They're kind of on hold, it seems like. And there has been an upload from Alex, like post-mortem and everything, leaving LTT.
3 channels had just been put on hiatus, and everyone that worked for those channels was laid off, which didn't exactly give me a whole lot of confidence to start a new channel there.
And it seems like he confirmed that the people who worked on these channels were possibly just laid off. So does that mean that these channels were just failed projects and they couldn't really support them over time? Or does this indicate that LMG, do they have some particularly like big problems? Now, from what I can see, like 10 months ago when all these channels were laid off and just kind of stopped uploading, I don't think anything particularly like large happened at the time. You know, there was that moment that a lot of you guys know that like Linus isn't actually the CEO of the company anymore, but this was about 2 years ago at this point, and not 10 months ago. I also considered there was that huge situation when Gamers Nexus called out Linus. It was a really, really big deal. This has done some irreparable harm to the company, it seems like, at least with their morale and everything.
We have a major brand problem right now. Macho Nacho. His community post regarding the collab video with us had a high level of negative response. There's like a major, part of the tech community that is just completely tuned out at this point in a like we can never reach them again way.
Yeah, okay, I see what you mean, yeah.
Gamers Nexus is what happened. The amount of damage his videos did to the channel cannot be overstated. With lost sponsors, terrible community sentiment, and some really good talent leaving the company because they did not sign up for death threats.
Again, this sense was still 2 years ago. There's still probably an entire year before the shutdown of those channels. We've also seen recently that Linus was talking about views on the channel actually decreasing. They used to hit like 1 million views per video on YouTube, which is pretty impressive. Like, dude, if I was hitting 1 million views on a video each time, I was like, that is insane. For them, that seems like what their business model is operating on. And if they're not operating with that, then it does concern if they're going to make enough money to pay everybody who works at Linus Media Group. It is a pretty large company. There's over 100 people that work at Linus Media Group, so it's pretty decent in terms of the YouTube creator space. Like, it's not Mr. Beast scale, but you know, I can imagine having 100 people working with me. That is insane. And then that brings me also onto the subject is, why is the talent leaving? Why are people who have been with LTT for so long now wanting to leave the channel? There's a variety of reasons. I'm going to tell you that. And this was in particularly addressed in a recent video that Alex ended up making on the Zip Tie tuning channel. And I bet a lot of you guys saw this because this video has over 3 million views, because a lot of people were questioning, why would people want to leave LTT? Is something going on? And it seems so mysterious when things happen. You just kind of find out by a tweet.
The thing I value most is constantly learning new things, and for my last 2 years at Linus Tech Tips, I felt like I was just rehashing old ideas for a new sponsor. Andy was having a similar experience. What he loves doing is making awesome videos, filming cars. Instead, he was just managing schedules and coordinating shoots instead of actually being in the action.
And one of the biggest things that I gathered from this video was that the authenticity starts to get lost in the channel.
When there's only 15 people at the company, it felt like my role was writer, engineer, fabricator, test technician, and product designer. And when the company was at over 100, my title finally reflected my role, just a writer. I was also generally struggling to come up with new ideas for crazy projects. The first time we strapped a massive fan to a computer is exhilarating, and 8 years later, I could write the conclusion of the video before it even started.
In a way, you could say that Linus Tech Tips, and I think a lot of people would agree with this, as they've scaled up to so many employees, running so many channels and everything, having a merch store and an LTT labs and all that, they have become somewhat corporatized. There is a lot of things that rely on being consistent. There's a lot of things, like Alex mentions in the video, that happened with the Gamers Nexus situation.
Every single time there was a problem in a video, there'd be a bunch of post-mortem meetings, then there'd be a brand new process that would be created to prevent that problem from happening in the future, even though we hadn't gotten used to the old process yet.
And all that stuff really starts to weigh down on the channel and the fun of actually making content. So Alex went from being someone who's in everything into just basically becoming a writer, and he didn't really like that experience anymore. And something else that Alex does mention is, because it is such a big company now, they end up monetizing in a lot of different ways.
And for my last 2 years at Linus Tech Tips, I felt like I was just rehashing old ideas for a new sponsor.
If you're at a certain point on YouTube, it seems like creators just monetize like crazy. Every time you can make money, you need to be making money type shit. Just on the LMG Clips channel, when they're uploading WAN Show, or WAN Show itself has an entire banner on the bottom that has a QR code for the chairs that they're sitting in. So apparently sitting in the chairs and having the logo out to the audience isn't really enough, apparently. And if you go to the end of an LMG Clips video nowadays, there's even a little banner where they have even more stuff there. Let's just go ahead and pull up a Linus Tech Tips video, and let's just see how many monetization opportunities that they take in the video. I don't think they put a bunch of mid-roll ads from YouTube in it, so that's one thing they can take out of this. So we're just gonna scrub through. And the first thing that always happens in these type of videos is they're gonna have a sponsor or something. Or actually, this one, surprisingly, actually might not have one. Yeah, I think the entire video is actually sponsored by the company who makes the servers to put this graphics card in. So I think that's actually a bad example, but technically, yeah, they kind of monetize the entire video. I'll just say, for example, this one, which happened relatively recently. This video is actually talking about their monetization with channel memberships on YouTube. Off the bat, they're going to be working towards the beginning of the video in order to get to a sponsor. So here is the sponsor.
The changes we're making on our channels because of it, after a quick message from our sponsor.
MSI. Their Vector 16HX AI A2XW laptop packs up to an Intel Core Ultra 9 275HX Pro.
So it's usually about 10 to 20 seconds at the beginning of the video. They call out YouTube memberships, and it does seem like a pretty natural call out to push people towards Floatplane, which they upload their exclusive content on. So that kind of makes sense, but that is another monetization opportunity. You scroll through the video to about 5:30, and then there's another Floatplane call out to tell you to go ahead and subscribe at Floatplane. Not even 8-minute video. As you go later into it at about, you can't quite see it, but about 6:30, there's already
Ground news. There's been
another set of ads
lately with
and a video that has also ads from YouTube on it. They call out their products. You'll see this in so many different videos, product placements from things they sell, which does make sense. You know, I get it. Like, they need to make money. They need to support their creators and their entire business. It makes complete sense to me. And if you see their breakdown of the revenue that they pull in, you can see nowadays they're obviously making a lot of money on sponsors and Creator Warehouse selling products and everything because, well, they call them out a lot. And this is part of the corporatization of Linus Tech Tips. We need to put a sponsor on this video because, genuinely speaking, and it makes sense, they need to keep their employees fed. They need to keep making money for the company. It's not infinite money. LMG is still doing quite well in terms of the revenue, but it doesn't take long in the social media landscape for some really bad things to happen and to have tons of issues. I don't think that they're acting with malpractice. That's my interpretation of it. You could agree with me, you could disagree with me. And Linus Tech Tips probably does have a lot of haters and stuff too. But another layer to this that shows that corporatization is the channel name itself. It's a YouTube channel that started out as Linus Tech Tips. You would think that Linus would be present for almost every video out there, but nowadays, because Linus is stretched so thin with all the things he needs to take on, he can't even do that. He doesn't host every video. You hop over to Short Circuit and Linus is there a good chunk of the time, but not all the time. I don't blame him for wanting to be bigger than just himself, but it doesn't feel as personal as what a YouTube channel would be, and having over 100 employees definitely makes it feel a little bit less personal too. I wouldn't say that Linus Tech Tips is completely corporate or anything like that, but moving towards that reality is probably why a lot of the people who are leaving LTT are leaving LTT. And Alex cited this specifically because
the Gamers Nexus debacle completely killed discussions about a car channel. With views and revenue down, it didn't seem like a good time to expand into a new vertical, and the talks never seriously resumed.
He wanted to make a car channel, but Linus Media Group was like, hey, we don't know if we can afford to do that. And that's why Alex left. And that's part of being at a big company, that they're going to become more risk averse. And that might be one of the reasons why so many of these channels have been shutting down lately, because we actually wanted to consolidate and focus their efforts on the main stuff. So to me, how I see it is that a lot of these people are leaving for the exact same reasons that they came to LTT. They wanted to be a part of this community that's creative and expressive and all that. And over time, it started to lose that for them. And they ended up making their own channels to be able to express what they wanted to do. And that's, at the end of the day, what YouTube, I think, is all about, is the personal connection to the creator. So it does bring into question a lot of things with non-compete. You sign a contract that you can't just make something that instantly competes with the company you just left. I mean, this isn't good for employees, especially for a company like LTT. It makes sense because of how easily it is possible to make a career on YouTube, especially if you have a foothold. So to me, it's kind of scary for them. They're shedding talent, people that they built up for years and years. They can just leave and make their own channel. And apparently this non-compete, according to Alex, was a little bit more aggressive.
There was a big problem though, the non-compete. At the time, the employee handbook said personal projects should not be competitive with LMG or its affiliated company's business. Was that we could launch the channel, but only if we didn't monetize it, had no sponsors, and didn't get any free car parts. Shortly after we launched the channel, I was pulled into a meeting with management and HR where they told me I had violated the non-compete and had 3 options.
And actually they ended up getting fired.
3. Get fired, get a generous severance package, own my own company, and do whatever I want to do with Andy.
That was easy.
From what I've heard, they've already changed the non-compete to something that is much more reasonable.
Kind of based of Linus at the end of the day. But it does bring into question is how many of these people, especially with a more generous non-compete agreement, could just leave the LTT channel and make their own stuff. How loyal are they to the main channel? What I think is interesting is they obviously care about those people who are leaving. So in Oliver's video, literally the CEO of Linus Media Group said, good luck.
Congratulations. This is the start of hopefully a super fortuitous journey.
It also seems like from Alex's side that there is still a good relationship.
By the way, Linus, if you're watching this, hit me up on Steam. Let's play some tape to tape. That was a good time.
And if you check out some of the things from Jake's post recently on Twitter, the first thing is Linus Media Group. It was a hell of an adventure and wishing you nothing but luck on the next leg of your journey. So they're okay with their talent leaving and making their own channels, which honestly is based. I think it's cool that they're doing that, but it does, to me, that would be kind of scary. I mean, your talent is what people watch at the end of the day. So I think it's really cool how LTT is treating it. It's questionable from a business perspective, and if LTT is going to be fine into the future with these things happening. I don't know if Linus has officially addressed this. I couldn't really find anything. Maybe he did. Now, if you are curious of where this is all going, I did try to reach out to Linus Media Group to see their thoughts on the whole situation. They have a form on their website that is just contact us. I gave them my name and email and I messaged them. My email doesn't look that official. It's just a Gmail thing. I sent them this, then I sent them another email, and I haven't gotten a response as of yet. So Linus Media Group, I don't know who would be representing them because they have a lot of freaking people. If you want to talk to me about this, I'm curious of where the company's going to go because I like LTT. I may have criticized LTT in the past too, but generally speaking, I like the content. I watch it. I've grown up with it. There's just some thoughts. I just thought it was really weird how you're seeing all of these people leave LTT and they're just like appearing in your feed. You know, I wouldn't expect that to happen, but it's like every now and then just somebody pops up. You don't even know the background. It's just what is happening. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, but that's been it for me. Peace.